Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another Spooktober edition of the Seaman Cinema Sit Down. That's right, it's October, and we are right in the middle of our 31-day marathon filled with horror, Halloween, spooky, creepy movies, anything I can get my hands on that feels like it fits the Halloween spirit. That's what we're going through. And yes, I fell behind. Life got in the way. We missed our October 3rd, 4th, and 5th movies. We just talked about our October 4th movie, which of course was Nightbooks, which is over on Netflix. Brand new, PG, scary movie that is actually legitimately scary at times. Like, I would not take your little kids, man, your 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds and be like, hey, you want to watch something spooky, scary, get you in the Halloween mood? Might be a little too scary for them. However, I do think it's a perfect in for 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds that want to get into scary movies. I had a lot of fun, and it surprised me because I wasn't expecting a ton from it. If you want to see all my thoughts on Nightbooks, you can check them out right up there. But now, we turn our attention to a different PG franchise and movie. And ironically enough, phenomenal ordering, once again, by me this Spooktober, because this PG movie leans away from the scary and far more into the family-friendly stuff. And I think it could maybe use a little bit of that darker, creepier tone that we got in Nightbooks. But nevertheless, the family-friendly version of this family, it's always a good time. And in 2 movies in a row, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, even if they're not perfect. What am I talking about, or who am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into they're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ookie, the Addams Family 2. Yes, that's right, baby. We are diving into the Addams Family 2, which is our second go with the animated version of the Addams Family. And as an Addams Family fan, I grew up with this property, man. I watched the original cartoon, the original black and white show on Saturday mornings. I watched both movies, Addams Family and Addams Family Values, and I've always been a fan of the entire clan. And I do wish it was a little darker, but I do thoroughly enjoy both of these movies. And if you ask me, I think this one is a little bit of a step up from the first one. And, you know, there's multiple reasons for that. But once again, we have our directing team of Greg Tiernan and Conrad Vernon back. This time they, elevate Laura Brassow over from visual effects artist to directors. She gets to dip her toe into the world of directing, which we see plenty of visual effects artists do in the world of animation. And once again, I think that this team does a good job of capturing the essence of the Addams Family. Yes, we're a little light on the scary and the creepier stuff with the Addams Family, but this is still a property that feels correct. All of these characters, I think, feel like they are in tune to the characters I grew up with, and all of our actors do a phenomenal job, and this team really does find ways to get the best out of its very, very top-end voice talent that they have. And we will obviously talk about all of those guys. But aside from just getting the best out of their actors, the animation and the direction of this movie, I think, really works. It's a little bit more cohesive than the first go-around. You can definitely tell, like, Tiernan and Vernon probably learned some things just working inside of an Addams Family movie in that first one that I think apply and elevate things here. And like I said, the animation is stellar. I love this animation. I mean, I love the look of the family, which is far more in line with the original comic strip. And while it's not as dark as I think you could go in the world of animation, they do tend to lean more toward the bright and the fun in both movies. But that animation is gorgeous to look at, man. I mean, whether Pugsley is blowing stuff up or Wednesday is working on a science project, like, the animation just pops. And if you're trying to garner a franchise toward a younger audience, really bright colors always play well with kids. And like I said, I think as long as you maintain the essence of the Addams Family, I'm okay that it's not as dark or as spooky or as creepy as it could be. Once again, I think our directing team does a fine job here of capturing the essence of the Addams. On the writing side, however, we have a different team. In the first Addams Family, we only had one screenwriter. That was Matt Lieberman. And while, again, I think Lieberman captures the essence of the family, the one big issue I had with that first one is it felt disjointed as you were going through it. You know, like, it felt more like it was almost like mini episodes inside of a movie. And I said right out the gate, I think if you would have broken that up into like a 10 or 11 episode version of the Addams Family, that movie could have worked a lot better. And this time we bring in a new writing team, which brings a far more cohesive movie-feeling story. However, I do still think the best place for this version of the Addams Family is in an animated television series. And what's cool here is, while I think the 3D animation would totally work in a series, you could totally do it. If you were trying to save a little money, though, toward the end of the movie, the Addams tease that they're going to go on a different kind of vacation, and we get to see pictures from that vacation. And the pictures that we get are this really kind of cool-looking 2D version of these 3D characters, and they're a little bit creepier. Like, dude, if you couldn't do the 3D, you could do that 2D animation as a show, and I think it would work spectacularly. But we're not here talking about fictional TV shows that don't exist on streaming services that could totally snag this property up, I think. We're talking about the movie that this time Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit, who worked on the Detective Pikachu movie, as well as Ben Queen, who worked on the Cars movies. They come in here as our new writing team, and like I said, I think they create a more cohesive story. This time around, the Addams Family is looking to go on vacation, and following a science fair and kind of a bit of a separation from Wednesday, you know, not really getting into the things that like Gomez wants to do or bond with her, a lawyer pops up claiming that she's not actually an Addams, and Gomez freaks out and decides the best way to bring Wednesday and the family closer, as well as avoid this whole nonsense, is to go on a family vacation across country. Won't lie, the route they take is kind of strange. But that totally works for this family, and I just like the fun that we have in this one. I like all of our plot lines, you know. I mean, obviously, Gomez and Morticia are very focused on trying to just make this slapstick, put it together real fast vacation work, and trying to figure out a way to stay away from the lawyer guy and to get Wednesday to come back around. And all that stuff works for those guys. You got a really interesting story going on with Uncle Fester this time around that ties into the science project that Wednesday has at the opening of the movie, and it leads to a spectacular finish for him come the end of the flick. I had a good time with Uncle Fester this time. And then, of course, you've got Wednesday and Pugsley this time is very interested in wanting to, hit that romance side of Gomez. He had the sword fighting in the first one. This one, he's looking for the lover in him, and he's not very good with women. So you get to have some fun with Pugsley. I won't lie, his story is cut drastically from the first one, and I think it's almost like him and Wednesday have kind of flipped spots, where he was really the stronger focus for the kids in the first one. This one, Wednesday is the stronger focus. And like I said, you're kind of on this journey of her trying to figure out what in the world her parents are doing, while simultaneously figuring out who this lawyer guy is that keeps popping up, and how that plays into where she fits, because she doesn't quite feel like she fits in with the family. And the journey that Wednesday goes on, and the story and the meaning to those things, what they're trying to tell with that story, I think are really important for kids, man. Like, sometimes, and again, very similar to Night Books, being the outcast, being different, being weird, isn't a bad thing. And heck, with this family, that's what makes you an Addams, right? And I loved all that stuff. And I loved that we were able to get more Lurch and Cousin It. Yes, Thing is pretty much just our driver in this one, so we don't get a ton from Thing. He gets one little scene that I thought was really funny. But we do get to spend more time with Lurch and Cousin It. And that's great, man, because Lurch really fits in well with the family, and getting to use him the way that they use him in the movie and what they give him from a story perspective, I really dug, and I certainly dig his relationship that he has with Wednesday, as per usual. And I've always been a fan of Cousin It, because he's just weird. What in the world? He's just nothing but hair. Like, who doesn't love Cousin It? And again, I just love the fact that it's Snoop Dogg voicing him, right? Like, coming up with all those little sounds. But they give Cousin It a lot more to do this time, and he gets to kind of split his story a little bit between the Addams Family vacation and Grandma, who's at home throwing a massive rager with the house. Oh, man, and Cousin It totally plays into that. And I love what they gave everybody to do this time around. Like I said, I thought it was just a stronger, more coherent Addams Family story than the first one. And once again, our cast is phenomenal. Oscar Isaac, he is Gomez Addams. I mean, if you ever made a live-action Addams Family, you'd have to cast Oscar Isaac, man. Like, he nails the Gomez stuff. Like, he's so good, and every time he opens his mouth, I'm just like, that is Gomez Addams. And like I said, the things that are going on with Gomez and trying to, connect with Wednesday and figure out this whole mystery of whether or not he's her biological father, it gives Isaac some fun places to go, and I think he does a tremendous job, as does Charlize Theron. She always just crushes. And what's cool is, for both of them, while you can tell that they're them a little bit, you can sense their voices in there, you really do lose both of them in these characters. I mean, Isaac goes full Gomez, and Theron definitely goes full on Morticia. I mean, she's so good. However, neither of them are our standouts this time around. Oh my goodness, Chloe Grace Moretz. She was so good in the first one, but didn't get nearly enough screen time. So this time around, where the story is more focused on her, she gets a ton of screen time, and she is so freaking good. And much like Isaac and Theron, what she gives us as Wednesday really does, you just lose Chloe Grace Moretz's voice in there, man. She really is Wednesday Addams, and that just no emotion that Wednesday can deliver, and just that cold deadpan that she hits every once in a while. All of it works very, very well with Chloe Grace Moretz, and once again, does a fantastic job. She just got way more to do this time, and I enjoyed every single second of it. Now, big change up, we have no Finn Wolfhard this time as Pugsley. We have Javon Wana Walton as Pugsley, and, much smaller role. If that maybe played into why Finn didn't come back, I can kind of understand it. But I tell you, man, Walton does a great job. I mean, he certainly sounds like Pugsley Addams, and, you really don't lose too much in that changing. And it's a good transition to talk about how, if you were to move to an animated version of this that is a series, not a movie. Sorry, not move to an animated version. It is an animated version, although you can move to a 2D version for sure, dude. The 2D animation, like I said, we get at the end in these little postcard pictures. It was awesome, and it has that creepy darkness that I feel like this one's missing. But whether it was 2D or 3D, if you move to a television series, Walton, I think, is a perfect example of how you could change the entire voice cast to save some money, or if you just couldn't get them to come back to do a television show, whether it's timing or whatever it is, you could totally recast everybody and do an animated television show that I think would really work. And Walton, as Pugsley here, really shows you that you didn't lose a ton by losing one of your big name actors. So great job from him. And then I gotta just give a massive shout out, as per usual, to Nick Kroll. While he is a little bit more zany and a little bit more out there for Uncle Fester, and it's not more out there. Uncle Fester's pretty out there, but he's a little bit zanier than some of the other Uncle Festers. The voice work matches perfectly to that. I mean, that version of Fester and that visual totally mesh with what Kroll does from a voice perspective. And like I said, there are some really interesting things going on with Fester in this movie, and Kroll gets to have an absolute ball. He has to do some really fun things, and I really enjoyed what was going on with Uncle Fester. It's just it's just a slow process where everybody is slowly starting to notice something is off, and then the big reveal at the end was just fantastic. As I said, you got Snoop as Cousin It. The noises that come out of his mouth are fantastic, and naturally they worked in a little Snoop Doggy Dog for everybody. And then lastly, but probably not least, from the Addams Family, you got Conrad Vernon, the director, voicing Lurch. Fantastic job. He really nails it. And they give Lurch one moment at a bar where Wednesday is I need you to go use your cold dead hands. And we don't get exactly what she's expecting, but it's a total Lurch thing and just a wonderful moment. I really hope that Conrad Vernon was the one voicing Lurch during that sequence because, oh man, genius voice work. But of course, the other Addams Family member is Bette Midler. This cast is so damn big. She plays Grandma. Super small role for her. But Grandma does get to have some fun, and I like how it kind of plays into the overarching story toward the end of the movie based on what she's a nice break away from the main story every once in a while, and Bette Midler does a fine job. Then you have Wallace Shawn, who plays that, little lawyer that's chasing the Addams around all over the country. And then, of course, there's Bill Hader, who plays this scientist, Cyrus Strange. He pops up right at the beginning during the science fair, and as soon as the voice hit, I was like, oh my gosh, That's Bill Hader. I didn't realize he was in this movie. That's genius. And, Cyrus plays into the movie a little bit more as you kind of see him and Wallace Shawn's Mr. Mustela kind of flip-flop. Right, like you get Cyrus up front, then you get a lot of Mustela, and then you get Cyrus out the back. And Hader does a great job, and how the Cyrus stuff in the storyline plays out was well done. So, I mean, you look at this flick. I mean, one has a freaking cast, right? Like there's so many, and there's so many twists and turns, and I love that like. After the first, movie got the Addams family to get along and interact with all the people from the town that they live in, I liked how you were able to take them out of that fishbowl and expose the Addams to the rest of the country and see how people react. Now, I would have liked to have gone back to town and seen some of the characters from the first one, specifically the fact that like Wednesday had a really good friend in the first one that's mysteriously absent here. But look, if you went back to Addams Family 3, I think then you go back to the town and maybe create something in the local story again. But as far as a nationwide story, you got a lot of people who got to look at the weird stuff that Addams Family does. And like I said, it's just a fun time, man. Like it's not the best movie in the world, but I promise you, if you're an Addams Family fan and you throw it on, it might not hit exactly the way you want, but you'll have a good time for, the 90 minutes that this one runs. That's the other thing, too, man. A nice, tight runtime always really helps. So, well-paced, well-animated, well-acted. It's a rock-solid flick, so let's give it a score. Get the C-Maniacs up! There they are! As I said just now, I mean, phenomenal animation again. I really like this style of animation, and I like that we live in this world where animation across the board is just trying to do different things. You know what I mean? You're seeing all these different companies attack 3D animation, even 2D animation in different ways, and this animation really does pop. And like I said, the little 2D animation they gave us at the end, I was like, you can take me there. That looks like fun. And like I'd be down. I'd be down for a 2D animated show if you wanted to go that route. I want more Addams Family. But I mean, direction, animation, acting, everything here is just rock solid. So I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 5 C-Maniacs, man, because that's a rock solid score for the C-Man. And look, like I said, it's not gonna hit for everybody. Some people will probably roll their eyes and be like, another animated Addams Family movie that doesn't want to do what I would like it to do. But I think if you're looking at the Addams Family in a hardcore family-friendly environment, this works, I think, more often than not. So there you go, man. Those are all of the C-Man's non-spoiler thoughts on the Addams Family 2. Another rock-solid, family-friendly Addams Family movie. I think it's just one where you can take the family, you can watch it in the comfort of your home. It is rentable right now, or you can go out to the theater and you can just have a good time. But that gets us just about all caught up on our Spooktober countdown. Let's get the list up, and as you can see, with the Addams Family 2 in the books, we are caught up and on today, man. The Addams Family was October 5th. We got one more, the 6th, today's movie, which is No One Gets Out Alive. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. But yeah, we are all caught up. This is the list the rest of the way. I certainly hope you guys are enjoying following along with me on the list and just, interacting and talking about all the different, creepy, scary movies. And you can see we got even more on the way. So there you go, man. That's everything I got. Now it's your turn. I want to know, what'd you think of the Addams Family 2? Did you dive in? Were you a fan of the first one? Was the first one really not your cup of tea? Did you think this one would be better? Was it better if you saw it? Was it not? Is this just not a franchise that's clicking for you? Would you prefer to see it in a television series? Anything you got, if you've seen it, I want to know about it. And if you haven't seen it, is this on your Spooktober list? Are you going to go check out the Addams Family 2? Have we intrigued you to want to check out the Addams Family 2? Man, anything you got, good, bad, indifferent, on the Addams Family 2 goes down below in the comments section. Look forward to talking to y'all down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man as we continue along on our Spooktober run, you just want to be here when I'm talking regular TV and movies, trailer reactions. You just want to show a little love and support to the old C-Man you haven't yet. And hey, come join C-Maniac Nation. Super easy. All you got to do is jump over there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.